Hi guys, and welcome back to Pen and Pencil Academy. First of all, I would just like you all to go and hit that subscribe button and make sure that you have turned on your notifications. Remember, if you have any questions, please leave your comments down below in the comment section. In this video, we're going to look at the SINE rule. So the first thing that we need to do is when we're using the SINE rule, we need to make sure that we look out for the certain types of triangles. So we've got right angle triangles and non-right angle triangles. We use the three golden trig rules for right angle triangles, but what if we have a non-right angle triangle? That is what the SINE rule is used for. So as we did with the right angle triangles and how we labeled them, we're going to do the same for a non-right angle triangle. Now, we know that triangles have three angles. So they've got an angle here, here, and here. And they've got three sides. So what we do is, it's very simple, it's not difficult. We just label a capital and then a lowercase letter. So if I show you, if we labeled this here A, let's do it here A, for the angle, so the angle is A, and this angle is B, and this angle is C, what would happen is the lengths would correspond to those letters, but in a lowercase version. So this length over here would be lowercase a, this length over here would be lowercase b, and this length over here would be lowercase c. Now it's very, very important that you get your labeling correct so you can use the formulas properly. So that is just how we label the triangle. That's the first part of using the SINE rule. The second part is looking at the actual equation. Now, if we have a look here, you can see two different versions of the same equation. And the first one is sine A of the sine of the angle over the length, sine B over the length B, and sine C over the length C. And this is the reason why labeling the triangle correctly is very, very important. Now, this one is just this equation being flipped over. And the reason for that is that this first one here is when you want to work out an angle. So this one is when you want to work out an angle. And this one here is when you want to work out a length. So if you're given an angle and a length, and then an angle, and then you want to find out another length, you would use this equation here, the second one. And if you wanted to find out an angle, you would use this one here. So what I'm going to go through quickly is two different examples of questions. One where you have to work out an angle and one where you have to work out a length, and then how to actually use these equations in each of those scenarios. So here we have two different triangles. They're both non-right angle triangles, and they both have certain values given. So in this question, we're finding out an angle, and in this question, we're finding out a length. Now, they'll always indicate what they want you to find out. They'll say in the question, so find length, the length of this side. So they'll have it, sometimes they'll have it labeled, or most of the time they do. So if we just have here, if we just label these quickly, if I say this is A, this is B, and this one is C, this question would say find out length CB if they don't write X over here. Yeah? Let's just do the same over here. A, B, and C. So normally they should give you the letters on the corners. So the first thing that we need to do is label our sides. So if we're given this to be A, this one here would be A, lowercase. If that's capital B, this would be lowercase b, and that means this would be C, opposites, lowercase c. So we're just going to do this one first. So if we look at the two equations here given, if we're looking for the angle, we need to use the top one. So we have big A and small a, and then we have big C and small c. So we need to use these two parts of the equation. Let's just write that down. So here we would write sine of 15 divided by 9, because we have a and small a. So we have sine of 15 over 9 is equal to sine of x, which is a big C, over 10. And then in order to get our x value, we need to write this as sine 15 over 9 times 10, so we bring the 10 to this side, equals to sine of x. So that's what we would do. And to find out x, we would just do the sine inverse of this whole thing. So to find out x, we would do sine inverse of sine of 15 over 9 times by 10. And to get that to 3 significant figures, our answer is 16.7 degrees. To 3 significant figures. So that is the first triangle. We've used the first equation to find out the angle. Now this one over here is very similar, but we just use the other equation. And before we do that, we need to label the triangle. So if this is capital A, this length will be small a. Same here, so be small b, and this will be lowercase c. Now we're trying to find out the length CB. So what we need to do is look at what we have. So we have the opposite angle here, so the A's, and we have a set of B. So that's what we would use. So we would get x, which is small a, over sine of 20 degrees, the capital A, equals to 5 over sine of 15. Now in order to get the value of x, we would just do 5 over sine 15 times by sine of 20. Now here we don't need to do the sine inverse because we already have the angles, so we'll just get a straight answer for x. Now when we do that and we put it into our calculator, and we need to give our answer to 3 significant figures. So that's the normal thing that they ask in the questions. So it's given us 6.60732, and then there's a decimal. So if we wanted to put this into 3 significant figures, it would be 6.61 degrees to 3 significant figures. Actually, no, it's not an angle, it's just a length, so it'll just be 6.61 meters to 3 significant figures. Oh, that was right. So what we've done is we've used the same equation in 2 different situations, 2 different scenarios, one where we have to find out the angle and one where we have to find out the length. So we need to make sure that we give our answer with the correct unit, and we make sure we don't get confused. So what we've done is we've labeled them and we've used the correct formula for both of them. Remember, you could use any of those formulas in both situations. It would just be a little bit more trickier. So these are just the easier ways to remember it. So instead of having to have a difficult rearranging of the equation, we could just simply, if we wanted to find out sine of b and we had sine a, small a and small b, we would just move this b to this side instead of having to use this one and put b and then divide that by a over sine a. Now I know that sounds confusing, which is why I prefer to use this one for the angles and this one for the lengths. So just what I was saying, if you had sine A over A is sine B over B, it would just be easier to get sine B you would just do sine of A over A times by B. Now, if you use this version of it, what you would have to do is, let's just do this. You would need to have, you would do B over A over sine A, just to get sine B, which is a little bit more tricky compared to this one. So that was the SINE rule and 2 different questions on how to use these 2 versions. It's the same thing, but it's just the easier way. If you want to find out an angle, you use this one. If you want to find out a length, you use this one. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, and thank you very much for watching.